Good horsemanship actually starts before the horse actually sees a human. Nature and a working horse herd are required to mentally produce a mentally and physically sound horse. From birth, the horse is a learning animal. He said the first job of a young horse is to be a young horse. The young horse needs to spend the first 3 years pretty much following his mother and other members of the herd. Around 2 or 3, the herd quits letting him follow and pushes him to become an independent horse and start thinking for himself. The survival of the horse herd depends on all its members thinking independently and in unison. The horse herd is like a family where the stallion and the lead mares offer direction, but when they come to water, the herd band just mingles with the other horses as long as everyone is polite. He says once a stallion band is together, it pretty much stays that way for life. The Brislons run about 13 stallion bands of Spanish Mustang seed stock on their 200-acre pasture. Once the bands are established, they are pretty much stay that way for life. The one attribute we work with when training these Spanish Mustangs is curiosity. Just as you can see, that comes, as you can see, that just comes natural with the horse. The natural environment creates the curiosity in the horse, and we build on that as much as possible in the first 6 years of the horse's life. We work our training in with the horse's mental maturity, so most of our training is geared after 3, so when the horse is more mentally capable of thinking and understanding and still be curious about the job we want to use him for. Our horse's self-preservation can be broken down as follows: curiosity, flight, fight, submission, death. And unfortunately, much of today's horsemanship is probably based in submission mode. And I mean, if you don't have flight and you don't have fight, that's probably where you're at. And he says we've had a lot of coffee discussions about imprinting and feel that to put the horse-human relationship, and feel that puts the horse-human relationship mode directly into submission. I mean, a young horse has no chance to flight, and his fight instincts in a horse really aren't developed yet. At the Brislon Ranch, we work in the curiosity and flight stage pretty much all the time. All our horses still have the fight stage in them, so when they get pressured, they will fight back. We focus on working exclusively with curiosity 100% of the time for the first 5 or 6 years. We feel once you lose that relationship based on curiosity, it's next to impossible to get it back. He says a simple thing like trailer loading, if you do it the first dozen times using the horse's curiosity, that memory of how he was able to figure out how to get into the trailer by himself will work with you for the rest of the horse's life. If you force the horse in the trailer, that memory will work against you for the rest of the horse's life. So we take the time in our training to make sure all the horse's memories are about him enjoying what we want him to do. This is a slow way to work a horse, and the first thing the person has to accept that all the horsemen who work horses like this are on horse time. If it takes a day or a week or a month to get that horse's curiosity to lead into the trailer, that's what is important to us, not some mad-made deadline. The horsemanship practiced and taught at the Brislon Ranch is a holistic horsemanship. It is not a series of techniques you can learn in a weekend, but it is a lifetime of developing techniques to better work with a horse's curiosity. That ability to work a horse without pressure and stress pays off over time, over the long run. If you ask the Brislons about colic, they can't recall a case they've ever had to treat. If they have had issues, it was probably with an outside horse that was still adjusting. From experience with the horses that come back to us, we all understand how important the natural environment is to a horse. In a couple of years, a horse will lose his athletic ability to run hills and rough terrain, and he'll struggle for a while learning to get that natural ability back. The prairie dog towns in the pastures quickly develop a young horse's confidence and ability to run through those fields confidently. Even the junk pile on one of the corners Pasture's Corners gives the horse confidence in the ability to move through dangerous junk without an issue. The Brislons don't think they've ever had an injury due to that. The horses do get bruised and cut up playing around, but if I remember my childhood correctly, I sure did that a lot myself, and I still do. The breeding in the Brislons herds, the breeding horses in the Brislons herds get worked about once a year. And you can quickly see the drowned manners that people are struggling with are human induced. They don't come with the horse. They're created in the horse. Correcting those issues has been another coffee discussion for a lot of years. The consensus is you really cannot fix most of them. You can get them better, but they stay with the horse. And that viewpoint drives the horsemen who work at the Brislon ranch to work harder not to create those issues in the horse in the first place. And the reality is most untouched horses already have a lifetime of negative human memories they are working from. They just haven't been touched. And if you talk to Emmett Brislon, he can explain how difficult it is to overcome the memories of a wild horse being rounded up and penned for the first time. There is 3 generations of horsemanship at the Brislon Ranch who've been focusing on better understanding the Spanish Mustang horses. In the 1950s, the Brislon family started wandering the country from the Outer Banks on the East Coast to the West Coast looking for Spanish Mustang breeding stock. Emmett was out riding looking for wild stock, and the rest of the family searched government pens and Indian reservations. Says a lot of Western writers at the time wrote the Spanish Mustang off as extinct, but the Brislons and others managed to find 20 or so different bloodlines, enough to keep the breed going without inbreeding. In 1970, the Brislons, Bob Brislon, led a scientific study of the Spanish Mustang, but a couple of untimely deaths brought that to an end. For the past 60 years or so, the Brislon family has struggled to keep those bloodlines alive, along with the natural environment and the training that all has to go hand in hand to keep the Spanish Mustang horse who he is.